computer. All right, sweet. So I'm Max. I am the current president of the FBLA PBL chapter at UNC. I'm a senior business major studying investment banking and multinational finance. And then if the other members of the executive team, if you guys want to introduce yourselves, Taylor, you can go first, and just whoever can just start.
All right, hey guys, can you hear me all right? Okay, so I'm Taylor. I am an incoming senior. I am one of the membership officers. I have a little bit of FBLA experience, but I just joined PBL when we created it this past year.
All right.
Hi, sorry. I'm Grace. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm the historian. I did FBLA and DECA in high school, business major, entrepreneurship minor. Yeah, I'm excited for the upcoming year.
Yeah, I'm Suhas. I've been in FBLA since high school, and I'm a membership officer, and I'm a rising sophomore, business and history major.
I'm Devin. I'm Vice President of Relations, and I did FBLA all 4 years of high school, and then me and Max worked together to help get it started here at UNC.
I'm Hari. I'm a rising sophomore studying business and potentially computer science. And I also did FBLA in high school, and I'm also one of the membership officers for this year.
I'm Tyler. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm the current secretary. I did DECA all 4 years of high school and FBLA my senior year. And I am a pre-business student with a statistics and analytics minor.
Great. All right. Well, I have a list of questions, and I guess we can just have 2 or 3 people answer each one, give you guys a decent, diverse answer group from each person. We have a lot of rising sophomores here, so they did just transition right from high school and are going through the same thing that you guys are going through right now. So it should provide you guys a nice description of what you are going to experience. I know it's going to be a lot different due to COVID and everything going on in the world, which is a little bit disheartening, especially going from high school to university. It won't be the true university experience, but it'll hopefully transition into what it's supposed to be in the next coming year or so. And then I know eventually, I believe Lindsay Elias is going to join us and just spectate for a little bit. She just got elected national vice president for PBL, at the national level. She was the state president last year. Decent friends with her. We've worked together for the past 3 years. I think she just wants to meet and introduce herself. But granted, it is smaller than I expected, but I appreciate those who showed up who did. And, we'll keep building from here. But either way, I'm going to start asking questions. I'll answer some, but I'm mostly going to let everyone else answer. So whoever wants to just go ahead and blurt out and start talking on the executive team, and hopefully it's as organized as we can make it. But so the first question is going to be what was the hardest part in your transition from high school to UNC, and how did you work through it?
I can help that one. I'd say the hardest part is figuring out, other than the friends side, everyone, finds friends in their first week. It's on the academic side, what club should I join? Who should I talk to figure out how to get into the business school? Who are the people who have the information about professors and classes and things like that? So I'd say definitely be looking out for information, looking out for clubs. I don't know if they're going to hold Fall Fest this year. I think it's going to be virtual, but definitely pay attention to a lot of that and make sure you find out what you're interested in. And figure out what you need to do to get into the business school if that's what you're planning on doing.
I didn't come here straight from high school. I went to community college for my associate's degree for the first 2 years, and then I transferred in to UNC as a junior. So I had a kind of a different route coming into UNC, but I'm going to build off of what Suhas just said. Definitely, it's interesting trying to make friends, and you want to find different groups and clubs to get involved with. So like he said, I don't know what the issue or what the deal is going to be with Fall Fest. But as for the making friends side, I know that at least for the transfers, we all made like a giant group chat, and then we all kind of like talked together, and we just kind of made our own friend groups of like who meshed well. I mean, that's actually how I met Max, was through that group chat. And so I think that if you guys don't have like an incoming freshman group chat, that might be a really good idea for you guys to make, just to be able to, you know, come in, meet people, come in and already be knowing people who's going to be on there. Because it can be scary coming in being like, oh, like I want to go get dinner, but I don't know anybody from you, like going to UNC from my high school. Like I don't want to sit at the dining hall by myself. And so that might be a nice thing to do. And don't be afraid to reach out to classmates as well.
So when I came to UNC, I came from like a very small high school. Like our entire high school was like 400 to 500 kids. So it was a massive transition from going from 10 to 15 people per class all the way up to maybe 400 or 500 people. And the thing I think I struggle with the most is you don't really get that relationship with the professor you do when you get a bigger class like that. So I think the main thing for me was just trying to figure out how to be more independent and learn stuff on my own, because the professor's not going to always be there to help me.
Great. Okay. And for those of you guys who don't know, Fall Festival is an annual tradition at UNC, and it's basically this huge gathering. Like, I think there's got to be 50 to 70 clubs there, and you basically just walk through a field. Like, probably definitely not going to happen to this, like with COVID, because it is not social distancing. They'd have to do some absolutely crazy things to make it happen. I think it's going to be something virtual, so we'll see what they find out. I'll just let everyone know once I do know. But basically, yeah, it's this annual event. All these clubs, you can meet a bunch of different people, find out what you're interested in, sign up for a bunch of different email lists. It's great. Unfortunately, you know, it's not going to be something we all can experience again this year. But look out for it when it is in its real real traditional self, probably in the next year or so. But next question. What's one thing you wish someone told you before you started your first year at UNC?
I can take that one. So I'd say something that I wished I learned before starting the year was that UNC has placement exams you can take for different courses. So even if you didn't necessarily take the course or take like an AP exam and got credit for it, you can try to take the exam to get course credit anyways. I made the mistake of I took astronomy in the fall for no reason, because I could have just taken the chemistry placement exam before the semester started, and that ended up like hurting my GPA. But it worked out a second semester, so I definitely recommend looking for placement exams you can take. So like in my situation, I took IB chemistry at the standard level in high school. So since you didn't get credit for standard level courses, I didn't think I could get credit for it. But you can still take placement exams to try to get the content credit.
I can take this question. I love to save money, and understanding that college textbooks are extremely expensive, I highly suggest looking online for a cheaper copy, or just simply looking at Facebook for students selling their old copies. If you're a freshman, join the upper classes UNC Facebook pages and see students posting ads trying to sell their old copies.
And building off of that, UNC student bookstores will actually price match with most websites and online retailers for the textbooks.
I wish I had utilized the peer tutoring and teacher office hours more in the first half of the first semester. Those are really, really helpful. And I just kind of put it aside because I was like, oh, like I don't know how much it would actually help me. It helps a lot. Just go to office hours if you're ever having trouble.
I second office hours. I put it off most of my first semester, and then towards the end I finally went, and it's just so beneficial. I mean, you're gonna have some of those professors who just like don't really care, like they're there, like they're there for the research money.
Oh, it seems Taylor cut out. Her internet sometimes gets a little fluky. But building off that, one more thing, there's online resource. You can get a lot of these textbooks for free online if you just do your researching. Kind of a legal gray area per se, but no one's really watching. So if you need to find your PDFs and can't afford them, a lot of them are online for free. What do you do for fun at UNC?
Well, when I first got to UNC, I had done cross country in high school. So I found out there was a cross country club, and there's like any sport you did in high school, you're probably going to be able to find a club sport for it at UNC that you're going to be able to join. So I immediately joined that. So it's 5 days out of the week. We usually do practice and run, but that's never required. And then on Saturdays, sometimes we go and we run meets, and we've went all the way to Virginia and South Carolina and everything. So it's just really fun, and it helps you get friends a lot faster when you join either club sports or just clubs in general.
One of my favorite things to do was go to Franklin Street on like Friday or Saturday nights and just go like eat at the restaurants or walk around. I live in Charlotte. The food's pretty good here, but like, I don't know, Franklin Street food just kind of hits different. I think it's really good and I miss it. So I suggest going to just trying all the restaurants.
Sweet. Okay. Let's see. I know a lot of you live in, I'm pretty sure you have to live in a dorm as a freshman, but unless it's Greenville, right? But what, for those who did live in dorms, what was dorm life like for you, and what dorm did you live in?
I can take that one. So I lived in Hinton James, which is so located on South Campus. It's the first year dorm. It's about like 1,000 students. So it was really good way to meet a lot of new people because there's so many people around you living in the same building. I'd say dorm life is different from like being in high school because it's a lot more independent. You can choose where to go at any time and just do whatever you want basically, which I enjoyed personally. Just being able to have the independence was really helpful, and being surrounded by people on your floor and getting to know people in your suite was a really cool way to meet new people. I chose to go random with my suite, and I'm still friends with like some of them today, which it really worked out. And I encourage you to like reach out to people on your floor, even just to like broaden your connections.
I can also speak on this. I lived in Cobb, which isn't going to be open for most first year students, but I would definitely recommend looking into it for your sophomore and above years. It's by far the nicest dorm on campus. It's a hall style, and a lot of people kind of stray away from the hall or the corridor styles. Sorry. But honestly, it's really not that bad. Just there's always something going on in the halls, and definitely take advantage of that because it's a great way to meet people.
Yeah, so I stayed in Horton, and that's sort of hostile, like 2 rooms, 4 people share 1 bathroom. And there's good and bad sides to that. Like with that, you don't have any cleaning service that comes in and cleans your bathroom at all. You all have to do that yourself. But for the most part, I really liked just having the bigger room and the more intimate space. And also, second semester, we didn't have trouble with it first semester because we all had different schedules. But second semester, one of the biggest problems we came into is we all had 8 a.m. classes. So for those days, we had to schedule out what times we're going to use the bathrooms. And I think that's one of the most important things you need to do with your roommates is just like schedule out what times certain people can do stuff based on their schedule and everything. So we all weren't in there at once trying to use the bathroom at the same time. So I was getting up at like 6 a.m. to use it, and then some people were using it at like 7:30.
Yeah, going off of that, I think it's very, very important to like establish rules with your suite mates at the beginning of the semester, and like you're gonna want to be nice and stuff, and you don't want to like cause any problems, but it's very important to like set boundaries because midway through the semester you're not gonna want to be that person to say, oh, you're leaving stuff in the shower or something. So I don't know, just talk in the beginning, have a little suite meeting, talk about boundaries and expectations for the year.
sure if any of the freshmen have gotten their housing assignments yet. I don't think that they have. But once you guys do, and if you guys have any questions about the dorm that you got assigned to, feel free to reach out because most of us have friends in a lot of different types of dorms, and I also know some people off campus. So if you're looking at moving off campus sophomore year, be sure to reach out for more information on that too.
For me, I lived in an 8-person suite and airing house. Honestly, living in a dorm is as much or as little as you want it to be. I spent a lot of my time studying in the study lounges where I made a lot of friends. I went to a very large high school, and there was like 80 people from my grade that came to UNC. So a lot of them lived in airing house, and just like as the first and second semester progressed, you just started to meet a lot of people in the building, and I just made like a very large friend group in the study lounge.
Sweet. All right. Well, I guess I can add in too. I lived in Hardin, which I believe is an upper class dorm. Really quiet comparatively to other dorms. And no, I don't really notice a lot of people out other than the study halls. Honestly, unless you enjoy staying in your room, wasn't in my dorm as much. There's so many things to do on campus. So if you're stressed about the dorm life, honestly, it's not that bad. You're not forced to be confined in your room, or if you want to be in your room, you're fine there. It's quiet. Other than that, be careful because the fire alarm will go off at some point random in the middle of your night. Like it happened to me at 2 a.m. where I got woken up by a fire alarm, and it's going to happen once. So mentally prepare yourselves, I promise. Let's see. So what was your hardest class and what did you succeed? Kind of off that first question I asked, but let's kind of go more in depth other than just office hours. But how do you like studying? How you break down your studying? Anything like that?
I can go first on this one without a doubt. I'm gonna name two. I think it was Store 113. It's like calculus for business and economics. It's not super difficult material. The teacher that I had personally was just absolutely awful. It was a nightmare. Like the tests are nothing like what you study. So you just have to study so much or just don't take it with that teacher. I can't remember what her last name was, but her first name was Nile. It was Nile Argon. Don't take her. And then Econ 410 is notoriously very difficult at UNC. Max carried me through that class, I'm not going to lie. But you just have to constantly study. Like you can't take a day off. Like I studied for 5 or 6 days straight before the midterm and like still only got like a B+. So like you definitely have to use the office hours, make sure you're studying, make sure you know how to do the problems, because I don't know how it's going to be for this semester, but a lot of professors aren't as nice as like community college or high school, and they don't let you have a cheat sheet, or they'll throw in random questions that like you didn't necessarily cover in class just because they can.
Yeah, going off of that, I had an extremely similar experience with my Store 155 class. I had a graduate student as my teacher, and he had like no idea what he was doing at all. And I'm going to be completely honest, I had a 12.5% for the first 3 months of that class. And the game changer for me was I didn't know anyone in that class. And I finally started talking to people, and we made a study group. I ended up getting like a 97 on the midterm and passing the class with an A. So I'm just telling you, like, study groups are key. And with another class, Econ 101, that's always known to be like a really, really tough class for some people. And I think study groups got me through that class too. That was second semester, so I'd like learned my lesson from Store 155 and made a study group at the beginning of the semester. And I really think that helped everybody through that class. It was just very difficult courses. Friends are key sometimes. So.
Yeah, I want to talk about.
You go ahead.
Thanks. Like 101 and 410. Yeah, 410 is definitely really difficult. If you have a choice or the ability, I definitely try to take with Professor Michelle Sharon Andrews. She goes by MSA. She's definitely really nice. And another thing about econ, other than just office hours, there's also the Econ Aid Center, which is in the econ building. And it's definitely like you have to go there at least a few times. Your grades will improve just by being with so many other people who have very similar questions. And basically like it's TAs and graduates and some graduate students who are all like really, really good at econ. They'll help tutor you, and it's completely free. So definitely recommend doing that.
Yeah, sort of going off what Taylor said, like you're going to definitely have some bad teachers at UNC if you don't plan your schedule correctly. And I would recommend going on ratemyprofessor.com and looking up the teacher for that class and seeing the ratings, and take those ratings very seriously, because I took a honors econ 101, and the teacher for that class is like one of the lowest rated teachers at all of UNC. And he was just so awful. Like he fails so many students. Like he tries to fail at least like half the class each semester. So it was just like really, really tough. And it helped me like second semester, because I actually swapped out some of my classes just because of the teacher's rating. And I didn't have any problem with any of my teachers because of that.
I also want to add, most of the teachers are really good. We're not trying to scare you guys with the bad teacher stories. It's just, like one in every like couple classes, you'll get at least one eventually, but most of the professors are really good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely use Rate My Professor and use the upperclassmen groups on Facebook to ask about your professors. And, if most of them are saying that they're bad, they're probably bad. Just take their word on it. Because, some people were telling me for one class, like, oh, the teacher is not good. And like, I saw a few that were like, oh, yeah, it's good. I'm like, well, it makes sense when you're doing a review online. Most of the time it's going to be negative, because those are the people who had a bad experience. They want to share that. But when they say it's bad, it's probably bad. So just switch out if you can. If not, just study office hours, use your resources.
Yeah, so I haven't really had a really bad teacher experience yet. So, I mean, knock on wood, it'll happen eventually. However, one thing that you should know is, it's easy to question, like, oh, how is there really going to be that bad of teachers? I mean, it is UNC. The problem with some of these systems is these teachers can get hired for research, and the only way they get their funding is by teaching. So these teachers just talk about research for the whole class, or talk about their research and then test you on different material. And that can happen once in a blue moon, especially in science classes. So just be wary. If the professor is talking about their own research, you're probably going to want to start studying inside the book and be prepared for an exam that isn't on your professor's research. Moving on to, let's see, who has experience with public transportation on campus, and what do you have for advice when using it?
Download the Rider app. It will absolutely save your life. It will tell you every bus route on campus, the next 3 times that the bus are going to be at every single stop. I would always be there like 5 to 10 minutes before it says it's going to be there, because the timing isn't always on time. The buses are notorious for either being extremely early or extremely late, so just keep that in mind. But overall, it's great. Like, you can get from North Campus to South Campus in what feels like a few seconds, and it just saves so much time. It's such an amazing resource to use. It's free. You're paying for it in your tuition, so you might as well use it.
For me, I completely agree with Taylor. I had a bad experience last semester with Psychology 101, because I was living in Ehringhaus and the classroom was in the Global Center, which is like a 15-20 minute walk. And for me, I had to wake up half an hour earlier just to catch the bus, because it either came 15 minutes early or 15 minutes later, and you just can never time it properly.
And also on that, if you can walk to your class within 10 to 15 minutes, always walk. It's not worth being late because of the bus systems, because the professors don't care that the bus was late. Everyone knows that the buses are always late. So like, if you're walking and like, unless it's like absolutely pouring or snowing or something, like if you can walk, it's just better to walk, trust me.
All right. I'm going to pause really quick. Lindsay Elias just joined. For those of you who are going to be joining PBL, she is your new national executive vice president. So she's part of the national team who works with the students all across the nation with making sure the PBL goals get matched and, students have access to scholarships and other resources. So Lindsay, if you just want to introduce yourself briefly and maybe talk about PBL for a few moments and your experience.
Yeah, thanks, Max. I don't know if you guys can hear me very well. I've been having issues with audio the last few days, but I go to Western Carolina. I'm a double major in accounting and finance, and I actually started my freshman year, and at the first conference, I met Max. And honestly, I never thought in a million years I would ever run for a state office position, nonetheless a national officer position. So that's been a great experience. And Max and Susie both were able to help me out with my campaign this um, past few months.
Great. Thanks, Lindsay. All right, I'm going to ask one more question and then open it up for your guys' questions. Hopefully you guys have some. If not, it's all right. I was expecting a lot more people, so there was a lot more time allocated for more questions, but we'll see. If not, we can just end early, and that's all right with me. I appreciate those who showed up, but let's keep going until there are no more questions. So I'm going to ask one more. I feel like this is important. Besides FBLA PBL, what other organizations are you part of on campus, and why do you find it beneficial or enjoyable?
I think it's good to join, like, there's kind of like different, elements of well-being. I don't know if you learned that in like psychology or whatever, but it's like, have like a physical organization you join, like maybe like an intramural sport, or if you're, an athlete, that's always good to have, or a club team, try out for a club team. And then maybe have like a social club. There's tons of social clubs. I'm in a sorority and love it. And then you maybe want to join like a career club or like networking. So like FBLA is good for that. Yeah, that's, just join however many you think you can handle in those areas. But that's how I like to disperse mine, at least.
Yeah, one really cool club that I joined was called Money Think, and basically we were personal finance tutors for a local high school that was like 5-10 minute Uber ride away, and every Thursday we would go for 30 minutes and teach personal finance to high schoolers. And I thought that was like a really interesting club because it's volunteering and it helps build some like leadership skills too.
I'm a part of a couple of different clubs. My favorites are the real estate club, and that's run through the business school. So if you're interested in real estate, I'm your girl to talk to. And also this past year, one of my good friends, Jonah Pallone, actually started a real estate investing mastermind group. And so that's really kind of in the works still, just like this PBL group. And so I'm one of the co-presidents for that group as well. So with that, if you're interested in learning how to invest, whether you want to do it for a career or even just for your personal life, learn more about investing and buying a home and all of that, that's a really great group. Also, I want to point out another great group called Helping Paws. You can volunteer with dogs, and we do puppy kissing booths and volunteering at the animal shelter and just everything related with dogs. So if you love dogs, that's the group for you.
This one, it's not really a club. It's more of just like an organization on campus, but it's the Entrepreneurship Center and Launch UNC. They do a lot of good stuff if you're into entrepreneurship. They do some fun events like I know there's one, it's called the Make-a-thon. You basically get together with a group and you have 3 to 4 weeks to like create an idea and then present it to judges. And then they judge all these people based on a bunch of different categories. And then you can like actually win a lot of money in it. Like I think top prizes are like $2,500. And they do these events like 2 or 3 times a year. So it's great to get involved if you're interested in entrepreneurship.
Great. So I am in UNC Operations Club. I was actually a committee outreach member. So basically, Operations Club just deals with um, we just go on tours of different businesses and see how the operations really works. I mean, operations a concentration of Kenan Flagler if you're interested in. So it's good to kind of get your feet in the wheel and even just experience new businesses. I mean, you go to tour of Top of the Hill Distillery, which they make vodka and other spirits there, and they give you. I mean, if you're of age, they give you free alcohol when you go on the tour. So that was pretty cool. Other than that, one club I would 100% recommend if you were going in business, any type of business, even just economics, join the UNC Finance Society. It's $20 a year. They send you every opportunity you can possibly have for investment banking, finance, real estate, anything that has to do with finance. And then they give you access to a boot camp. So that is the one club I would recommend, UNC Finance Society. So make sure you guys check that out if you can. So let's go ahead and open it up for student questions. Feel free to just unmute yourself and ask if you have some. If not, we'll just end it there. But hopefully you guys have some. Go ahead and unmute your mics if you do.
This is just about like general stuff for Kenan Flagler. Like, what business prereq would y'all like recommend taking first semester?
I would say taking Econ 101 is definitely a good choice because you have to do that to take Econ 410. You have to finish your prereq before you apply. And you'll have like so many people take the class. Like each class is like 380 plus students, so it's really easy to find study groups and friends to help you out. So yeah, that's definitely one I prioritize.
Yeah, I was also going to say Econ 101, and then I wouldn't necessarily recommend taking it at the same time as Econ 101, but definitely get your calculus and statistics class out of the way within your first year to first semester of your sophomore year, because those are really going to teach you the key skills that you're going to need to be able to succeed at the business school.
All right, thank you.
I would also recommend taking Econ 410 your fall semester of sophomore year, because Econ 410 is known as such a very hard class. If you take it in the fall, the business school is not going to see your final grade in the class.
I really like Busy 102. It's a class at the business school. It's the only prereq you get to take at the business school, and it's just a really good introduction to like finance and interest and all that.
And just a warning, I'm pretty sure you can only take one class while you're applying for the business school. So what a lot of people do, like Tyler was saying, is take the Econ 410 class your sophomore fall year. So you would take Busy 102, Store 155, the Calc class, and Econ 101. I think that's all of them. You can split them up like 2 and 2 your first year, and then take the Econ 410 your second year.
One thing I would suggest outside of classes is really get yourself involved in extracurriculars on campus, off campus. Look at internships your rising sophomore year. They look deeply at grades and prereqs, like, that's important, but the business school is really looking for an area of, they want to see you have an area of teamwork, show you have a community like ethical community, I don't know the word, but, show you're community oriented, and they want to see leadership opportunities. So, pursuing different leadership opportunities in clubs, pursuing a bunch of different clubs, showing that you have an on-campus presence, making sure you pursue that internship or any type of jobs or anything like that. So always make sure it's a combination of good grades and what you're doing outside of those classes. We have a couple questions in the chat, actually. So Norman asked, I know a lot of students move off campus after freshman year. Can you describe post-freshman year housing options, the pros and cons, and what you would recommend?
I haven't lived off of campus just because I personally like the convenience of being on campus, and I'm not in the best of financial positions to pay the monthly rent and the monthly utilities and whatnot. Like, I would rather just pull out a loan and have the comfort of just like being within all the action. And I've never had a walk longer than 10 minutes to my class. But you do have a lot of options. There's so many different houses and different apartment buildings around campus. There's some really nice ones and there's some really not so nice ones. So I would definitely say do your research with terms of what you can afford, know who you want to live with. I mean, there's also an option of subleasing. A lot of people will sublease for a semester or for a year because they're going on a study abroad, for example, and so they need somebody to take over their room, and oftentimes that's a lot cheaper, and you can find subleases often for like $400-$500 a month, and I think that might be a cheaper option than to just get your own apartment or house with rent. But there are definitely cheaper options. Just like I said, do your research, definitely join the upperclassmen Facebook groups, ask people for their favorite apartment buildings and areas. I know that Berkshire is really nice, but it's super expensive. The Union is brand new, opening up this August. That's supposed to be really nice. I'm not really sure what the pricing's like. Lark is also a really popular one, and all of these are within like a 5-10 minute drive. And there's also the Chapel Hill Transit bus system. Goes by most of the off-campus housing as long as you're within range. And if not, there's plenty of options for, park and ride lots or getting a commuter on campus parking permit and whatnot. So just do your research and reach out to upperclassmen.
Yeah, as far as like pros and cons go, I'd say like if you move off campus, you definitely get like a lot more privacy, and you don't necessarily have to worry about like UNC housing rules and restrictions. Like RAs, you don't have to worry about them. It's like a lot more isolated. But like some cons could be like it's a bit farther depending on where you want to be on campus, and it could be slightly more expensive as well. Like this coming year, I'm living in Morrison, which is almost the exact same as Hinton James, Hojo, where I was this past year. But I just decided to do that because I liked the style and it's like still on campus. So it's really up to personal preference, honestly. And like Taylor was saying, like financial positions and then like your desire for privacy and like personal actions, I'd say.
Yeah. So,
go ahead, Devin. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. So, when you turn sophomore, you actually get open up to the option to stay at the Rams Village apartments. And those are apartments on campus and they're still with Carolina Housing and everything. So if you have scholarships or anything, it pays for those. So basically you get like that apartment style while still being on campus. You'll get a living room and a kitchen and you'll get your own private room along with it. So it's sort of like the best of both worlds. Like if you want an apartment, but you still want to stay on campus, I would say stay at Rams Village. And it's also the closest dorms to the business school.
I will say, however, though, they are extremely competitive to get into. And a lot of priority will go up to your upperclassmen, your juniors and seniors. So don't be discouraged if you don't get it. Have a good solid backup plan just in case. But that I forgot about those. Those are a great option. You can use your loans to have that apartment style. And they have several options in the apartments. They have 1 bedroom, private room, shared rooms, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. So like it's just a lot of options, but they are a little bit more expensive, but a better option than maybe entirely moving off campus.
Yeah, when I tried to get them, when it was time to register for dorms for the next semester, there was just like none available, and I had to get on a wait list and wait like 6 months to get into it.
I'll add, I live at Berkshire right now. It's probably like a 5-minute bus ride to campus. If you have a car, it's pretty quick, 5 minutes. As far as expensive or, price goes, it is way too expensive and I do not recommend it, especially for what you're getting. I think I'm paying like $1,100 a month for the summer, which is just ridiculous. You can find much better options around and closer to campus. So just steer clear of Berkshire unless you're trying to drop a pretty penny. Another question in the chat was some of you guys touched earlier on study groups. Do you have any tips to get better grades, personal hacks you could share to study smarter in college? I'll just start on this one really quick. Work smarter, not harder. You don't want to sit there and study all night long and wake up and not remember anything because you didn't get any sleep. Always make sure to get your appropriate amount of sleep. You're going to remember things better, even if you just quickly study again in the morning. make sure you understand your study styles. So, I mean, if you study more as a doer, like writing notes and reworking problems, do it like that. Don't just start, reading it out loud or something that you're weaker at. It's just a lot of managing your time better and using your strengths adequately versus not using your weaknesses. So a lot of my friends study a lot more than me, but versus I tend to try and study towards my strengths. So then I'm not sitting there and spending all my time just staring at a book.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Oh, you go ahead.
Like the sleep thing, I definitely like made sure as much as possible to get 7 or 8 hours every night, and I think it really helped. Even though I can't pinpoint exactly what it did, I just felt much better. Another thing about better grades is like essays. I found like the best way is to split it up and like try to start like 3 days before. People who like cram the night before, it's never really gonna do well for you, because like the first day you can just write the first draft and not really think about how it flows or anything. You just want to get it on paper. The second day you actually do the second draft, and third day you do polishing. And it makes it way easier, and it'll improve your grades, like pretty much guaranteed. So that's definitely one tip I'd want to tell you guys.
Yeah, so going off of that with the whole sleep thing, I just know, like, for me, I would stress out so much, like, at night, like, if I was studying, and you find that you have a lot of free time in the day between classes. Like, I had a really funky schedule where I had, like, a 3-hour break between, like, a 5 o'clock class and 2-hour class, or a 1 o'clock class that ended at 2. So instead of like walking all the way back to my dorm and then walking back again, I forced myself to stay on campus and go to the library. And honestly, that's where all my friends were all the time. So even if you weren't studying, you could go hang out with your friends on the first floor. We could talk or study together, or go up to the 8th floor and have quiet. But I just think it's really useful in between classes to go to the library. So that way you're not stressing about stuff at night and you're free to do, relax or like just de-stress from the day.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd say.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to build off of that. Definitely use the library. I feel like so many people do not utilize the library, and it's crazy. Like, in those first few weeks, you're like, oh, this isn't too bad. Like, I can handle this. And then, like, midterm season hits, and you're like, oh, my gosh. So definitely go to the library in between your breaks, in between classes. And also something that you guys might not know of is that you can actually reserve study groups or study rooms for study groups inside most libraries. They're typically more easy to get in the Davis Library, but the undergraduate library also has some, as well as the Science and Health library that's close to Wilson Library. Wilson Library is beautiful. It has weird hours, but it's absolutely quiet. So if you're the kind of studier who needs it to be completely quiet, that's the place to go. Like, you could literally drop a pin and hear it in there. So just kind of hop around from libraries and see which one's the best for you. We have plenty of resources. There's plenty of media centers and resource centers in the libraries as well. So definitely take advantage of that, and also form a study group with your classmates on the first day of class. I know it's so awkward to be like, hey, I'm Taylor, I don't know you, we're all freshmen, like, first day of class, like, can I have your number to add you to a group meet? That way we can work together on things throughout the class. And I've done it once or twice maybe, I think, and it's been absolutely just a lifesaver, especially like if you have the ability through your professors to work on like homework together or something.
Yeah, so
sorry, I was gonna say, can I jump in here real fast? Because I mean, I know I go to a different school, but a good way for me to study is, first, do not study in your room, because you'll find that you will get yourself distracted way more. Study somewhere that is quiet, or somewhere that you'll be able to sit down and get your work done. And put your phone away. Do not have your phone out if you're studying, because I promise you'll get nothing done if your phone keeps buzzing every few minutes.
yeah, so like sort of going back to the sleep, I always say be on a very strict sleep schedule, because you'll kill your body. You'll just like completely destroy your health if you've not got the right patterns like one night you're going to sleep at maybe 11 or 12, and then the next night you're going to sleep at 3 or 4, and then sometimes you're waking up at 8, sometimes you're waking up at 11. It's just not going to be good for you. So what I did is I made sure I would get 6 hours of sleep at least per night. So I would go to bed at midnight and wake up at 6 a.m. And what I would do is actually I would get about 2 to 3 hours before I went to bed of studying. And then when I got up in the morning, I would spend about an hour and a half studying again. So I'm getting 2 different times of studying, where one time I'm full of energy and one time I'm sort of slowing down and preparing for the end of the day.
Sweet. Anyone else have any questions? You can ask PBL questions too. I mean, Lindsay is here. I can answer some. I mean, a lot of people have been in FBLA for a long time. So any questions are fair game right now. We have about 13 more minutes, but if there's no more, we can end here.
Foreign languages at UNC, specifically Spanish. What are those? How are those? Should I be worried about those, or
So
at a community college?
I've heard terrible things. I've never taken a foreign language at UNC. I took mine all at a community college. I transferred to community college, so I took 2 years, and then I took my third year at a community college this summer. They transferred them in with North Carolina. They have like an agreement with community colleges, so as long as they match up completely, it won't affect your GPA. You can get a C or better, and it just transfers the credits right in. 100% would recommend if you're not strong in foreign languages, because I have not heard good things. I'm sure other people have an experience here who might be able to tell you more positive things, but I can tell you what I did to escape that was to take it at a community college online.
So you can take a foreign language class while enrolled at UNC in a community college?
Yep.
Yeah, so you can take a lot of your gen eds at a community college and just transfer them in. You can take them online either during the semester or over the summer. Over the summer, you can knock out 2 of your Spanishes just at a community college. It's way cheaper, way easier. I haven't taken any of the foreign languages at UNC, but I know people who have, and it's just an absolute nightmare. And as somebody who has always excelled at foreign languages, I would not recommend taking it at UNC if you can avoid it. So definitely look into community colleges. I know that Max took his at Surrey Community College over this past first summer session online, and he didn't have much of a problem with that. I took all 3 of my Spanishes at Carteret Community College. So those are two good resources for you, but definitely don't be afraid to use the transferring from community college.
So as someone who did take the foreign language classes at UNC, I wish I had done that, because I can tell you they're pretty difficult. Like, I took French, so I can't speak for Spanish, but my teachers did not respond to you if you spoke in English. Like, it is all in the foreign language. My lowest grades were, and I didn't do bad at them, but they were my lowest grades. So I didn't think they were going to be difficult. I took 4 years of French in high school, did very well, and then I got to college, and it was just unnecessarily hard. I don't know why, but take it to community college. It's really good advice. I never thought of that, but
just to add on, I took Spanish 101 and 102 my freshman year, and then I went to Wake Tech and I took the 3rd level of Spanish, and the first month was completely just review. Like what you learn at Chapel Hill, the Spanish courses, like they just go far and beyond what you would do at a community college, and it's just a lot more cheaper if you do there.
So I should at the least postpone my Spanish to at least sophomore year and then rethink it.
I mean, it's hard because you could definitely knock it out during the summer. You could definitely knock it out during your schooling. When I say the difficulty is like completely different, it is remarkably different. Like, the amount of work I did this summer in a 4-week Spanish class was probably more. I couldn't even tell you. I think I did like 15 assignments a week that took me like an hour. And then I had 1 test a week, which took me an hour. So I had 2 hours of work a week for this 4-week Spanish class at a community college. So it took, it took me 8 hours to just get a free Spanish grade. I mean, So my advice would be definitely just continue to knock them out during the summers. I don't think it affects Kenan-Flagler admission. When I got into Kenan-Flagler, I applied as a transfer student, and which is a lot more difficult. And I didn't have all my Spanishes finished, so I don't think it affects admission. You can just knock it out one summer at a time, Spanish 1 online, Spanish 2 online, Spanish 3 online, even at different community colleges. So I wouldn't necessarily postpone them, but, I would set up a plan to be like, okay, I'm going to take it this community college this summer, this community college next summer. And then you'll have that outlined. So then you're at your senior year, you have all your Spanishes done.
One thing
I wouldn't necessarily postpone it too long. I would definitely make a plan. If you're going to postpone it, I'd say like postpone it to like the summer before your sophomore year. And if you can, like knock out both of them that summer, and then like you can do like the third, like in between your sophomore and junior year, just to make it easier. Like I know summer classes suck, but like most of them are online anyway, and it's really not that bad as long as you manage your time.
One thing I would just be careful is that once you have 60 credits, UNC will not allow you to transfer any classes from a community college into UNC.
That's actually false. I learned
Oh, really?
transfer prereq still. So I transferred 60 credits from community college, and they'll still take the Spanish prereq. They just won't take the credits.
Okay,
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah, that's not true. You can transfer in as many classes as you want. You will get the class, but if you're over that 60 credit limit, you won't get like the credits per se. So like Max is transferring in his third Spanish, so he'll get the credit for the credit or like say so for the class, but like the 3 credits won't go towards his additional 60 to 90 credits that he has to complete. So like I transferred in, like I took like 65 credits and you only transfer in 60, but I got like recognition and like the classes transferred over even though like the extra 5 credits didn't transfer.
Great. Anyone else have any questions?
Cool. There's a chat. There's something in the chat.
Yeah.
What are the dues due?
All right. For PBL dues, Devin's working on an email right now that he'll send out with an easy way to just send over your dues and the information. If you want to do it right now, all you have to do is send a Venmo to Devin. I think I sent an email a couple days ago, and then you just give him your major email, and then $30 dues in your name. But I think you can wait for the email if you want. It'll have all the information there. We kind of want dues before August 1st, but there really isn't any deadline or anything. You could join as late as spring. I mean, it just you with the fiscal years from July 1st to June 30th. So if you pay in May, then you have to pay again anyway. So the sooner you do it, the more you get out of PBL. I am going to be separating the email list starting August 1st. So all of the opportunities you have from PBL, you only get if you pay them the annual membership. And I feel like that's only fair. And there'll be all the information of what the membership comes with and what you can do with it. If no one has any more questions, Lindsay just wanted to provide a couple minutes of advice for all of you guys. She is a senior, so she's been through the whole college experience as well, and she might provide some PBL advice.
Thank you, Max. First of all, I want to say just always make sure to take care of yourselves and take some time to have fun. My first 2 years, I was extremely serious, and it kind of almost burns you out. So going into my junior year, I would definitely say I was a little burned out, but I took some time for myself and was able to regain my motivation. Next, always make sure to check your emails daily because you will be surprised of how many emails you get and the importance of them. There's a few times I work in the college business at my school, and there's a few times some students came in and they're like, I don't know where my class is, and they actually received an email a few weeks prior to the class starting that their class switched times and switched their location. Another thing is, I know this might sound silly for some of you, but have a planner or some way to write down all of your assignments, any meetings you have, any events. It's just a good way to help you organize and prioritize yourself. And also, If you procrastinate, it's also a good way to kind of help you see when all due dates are due. So if you do procrastinate a lot, maybe go ahead and make your own personal due dates for a few days in advance to the actual date. Another thing is make sure to bring your friends into the organization, just invite them to a meeting, um, because you'll actually see that your organization will grow best by inviting your friends. I will say, I think every single one of my closest friends are in PBL or have been to PBL events and meetings. Next, I would definitely say talk to your professors. When you're talking to your professors about, like, let's say you have a oh, look at that. Taylor said, fun fact, UNC gives you a free planner on move-in day. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, make sure to talk to your professors. If you're struggling with an assignment or you know for a fact you have a big test coming up and you have a project at the same time, go talk to the professor that you're doing the project for and explain them that and ask them if it would be all right for them to extend your deadline. And you'll be surprised to see how the professor will work with you. Same thing if you're going to miss class or whatnot, just make sure to always be communicating with them because they like to see that the students are taking initiative. Again, like Max was saying before, and I think a lot of the other officers said, to get involved in extracurriculars. I've heard from several people who hire in the professional world that they prefer to see people who have good GPAs also are involved in extracurriculars. They would rather have someone with a 3.5 GPA than a 3.4 if that person with a 4.0, instead if that person with the 3.5 was involved in extracurriculars and the 4.0 all they did was their schoolwork. So just make sure to keep that in mind. Also, just don't be afraid to ask for help. If you are overwhelmed or you don't think that you can handle everything at once, just go talk to Max or Taylor or your other officers. Sorry, I know that they're the two officers. Yeah, but just don't be afraid to ask for help. Try not to overdo yourself. And if you do find yourself in too many clubs and have too many tasks to do, don't be afraid to step down from some of those tasks. I think it was my beginning of my sophomore year, I was became chapter president at Weston for PBL, and I was also on some other executive roles, and I realized that I was spreading myself thin, so I had to step down from that. And that takes a lot for someone to do, but that also shows strength and a lot of good things for you. So if you guys do ever have any questions, please just feel free to reach out to your officers, and if you have any PBL questions, also feel free to reach out to me. You guys, North Carolina is my priority this year, and then the rest of the country will follow. So you guys just let me know if you ever need anything.
Great. Thanks, Lindsay. So it is 5, but final call. If no one has any more questions, we can end it here. I appreciate all of your guys' time. It was a good hour. I felt like it was productive. So final call. Any more questions?
Yeah, so I just wanted to get a clarification. So would you recommend us taking community college courses over the summer instead of just doing UNC summer sessions?
We do both.
Okay. So community college courses would be easier.
Very. Most are ridiculously easier as far as coursework goes, especially because they're online. Most of them are online based. So you'd set yourself up with a summer session UNC course and then a online community college course. The community college course is going to require a lot less of your time. You're not going to have asynchronous Zoom meetings, and then you can still put the priority at your UNC course. You only have to get a C or better at the community college course for you to get the credit, so then it doesn't affect your GPA. So you would just transfer the credits with no GPA hit. Even if you got an A or a C, it doesn't do anything. You still get the credits. So that's why I would recommend it, especially for general ed, foreign language, anything like that. But you're going to want to take your core courses towards your major at UNC because that's where you're going to get your real education. If you're just trying to knock out a course that you don't really need the knowledge, I don't want to say that, but knock out a course that might be particularly hard for you, the community college route is the way to go. in my opinion.
Okay. And
Definitely, if you can take your gen eds through the community college, it'll be cheaper for you. It'll be so much easier for you, less time devoted towards it. And depending on the community college you go to, some of the professors are more willing to help you, I guess just because of the smaller class sizes and, the lower salary comparison to UNC. So definitely utilize it if you can. And like Max said, keep your like big important like ones that will help you within your major at UNC. So like Econ 410, like I don't even think that you can take it at a community college, but even if you could, don't take it at UNC, because I feel like especially that course is so pivotal towards whether or not you'll be successful in the business world. I think not that you won't be successful if you do bad in that class. I just think that it helps prepare you for business school classes.
Personally, if you're going to take a prerequisite for the business school, I would still take those at UNC, because the business school is going to use that kind of as a gauge to see how well they think you're going to do if you get into the B school.
Right. Good. Cool. Any other questions?
okay. Thank you. And if we want to enroll in a community college course, if we want to go that route, how would we go about finding and enrolling?
So there's a website I believe you can find that'll show you the community colleges that are offering that course for online. I think you just type in like North Carolina Community College Course Finder or something on Google. That's what I used. It'll just find the course for you. Then you just go on the website and you follow through the application process. You get immediately accepted. You send over your high school transcripts and email the college. That's what I have, the community college, and they will just put you in the class usually. You just explain your situation. It's pretty easy. Just follow through the application process on their website.
Also, don't be afraid to reach out to your academic advisors, because this is a lot of information that they can even help you with, because they have hundreds or even thousands of connections, and they can help you get set up, and they can even put a good word in for you as well.
Sweet.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anyone else? Final call.
So I placed in Spanish 203.
Okay.
If I take that at all freshman year, do you think that would hurt me at all in an application process to business school?
You
if I didn't
played
take Spanish
203? What's that? That's Spanish 3, right?
I believe that is the third one, which
Yeah,
means
that's the third one.
You not having Spanish in your first year is not going to hurt your chances going
Yeah.
towards the business school. The business school does not care about foreign languages nearly as much as what they want for your prereqs. I mean, it not saying that it's not important, just your focus your first year you're going to want it to be those Busy 102, Econ 101, Store 155. Like, you're going to want to focus on those, because those are the ones that definitely determine if you're going to get into the B school.
And just a tip for Busy 102, it's only half of the semester. So if you can try to take it during the first half, you would finish it before midterm season. And that's just one last class you have to worry about, like workload going into finals.
Sweet. Final call. Great. Well, I appreciate those who joined. I did expect a lot more, but that's okay. The people who did come definitely got a lot of information, and I appreciate everyone's time. If you guys do have any other questions, you can reach out to me or any of the officers, the emails, or you turn just the email list, but I'm always available, so you can reach out and I can connect you to the resource you need. Other than that, thank you guys. Yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your semester, and you are coming to the resume building workshop. It's July 7th, and we have the assistant director of Kenan Flagler